Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Thursday. Okay, guys. So last night we got the premiere of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I am dying to know what everybody's opinion is. So everybody who's coming in on the live chat, definitely let us know where you're watching from. And I want to kick this off since it is the premiere with a rating 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. I hope you guys are having an incredible week. And I was thinking, who do I cover this with? And of course, you guys know on the podcast, Salt Tea Podcast, I'm going to be talking to Monica a little bit about it. I knew that that would be a completely different conversation. So I was like, hey, Ashley from Taste of Reality, can you come on and, you know, where we can just do it from a perspective of somebody who wasn't on the show, right? So before we jump in, smash the like button, show some love, get subscribed if you're not, and let's welcome Ashley. Hello.
Good morning, friends. How's everybody doing?
Oh my God. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm feeling so much better. I feel alive. Like, hey Siri, play Celine Dion. I'm alive because that's how I'm feeling after that episode of Salt Lake City. The girls delivered.
Okay, so 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go straight for the 9.5 because I loved it. I loved it. I think Bronwyn, I can't wait to talk about her. I think she is absolute perfection. Mary Cosby came back so strong. I'm here for the relationships. I love the Bezos party. It even inspired my red lip first thing this morning.
I like that.
I'm obsessed.
You know, one of my biggest complaints with Bravo lately, and I mentioned this to Monica a few times, was we have all of these great shows coming out on all of these other streamers, and like Selling Sunset and The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and just watching how they're shooting some of the shows and the production value of it. It just made me really think like, Bravo, we got to step this up. And it's like, they answered the prayers of it, because the production of it, even when they're talking at first and it opens up and they're, you know, you have Heather Gay being like incredibly dramatic, where she's like, we talk about the things that most people wouldn't. We let you into our homes when most people wouldn't. But then they do like that when the Kardashians switched over from E to Hulu and they went through all of their homes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, the cut.
Yeah, that speed camera, like I noticed the same thing. It looked like the house tours during Selling Sunset. Like obviously the budget increased significantly for this season of Salt Lake, and it shows. The sound effects, we'll get to that later, but like, yeah, just opening the episode with those fast cameras, fantastic. I mean, I think we're on another playing field this season.
You know, and I think that the budget would have increased anyways, because after last season, the ratings were so good with, you know, the drama, the bringing in Monica, the being able to keep Reality Bontis under wraps until the finale. Like, they brought in such great ratings, which, like you said, could have increased the budget. But also, with Monica out, they get to pay Bronwyn, Maylee Workman, Brittany Bateman. They get to pay them pennies to join this show because it's first season, you know?
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just going to say the fact that Bronwyn is getting paid pennies and she doesn't even care because she is rich is what I love. I love. She doesn't need this. And she just wants to be here. And that's what I want. I want women who this isn't their whole life. This is just a little piece of their puzzle. And yeah, I'm living.
Kind of like a Sutton Stracke or like a Heather Dubrow, like, you know, before or after, like whatever the show is not going to be the end all be all of them if they end up leaving the show. Like, and I hate to use, and I always use her as a reference, but like Gina Kirschenheiter, if she was taken off of the show, she's really going to feel it in her pocket. You know what I mean? And she's going to fight to be on that show as long as possible because she needs it. And most of us do. You know, most of us need our jobs. We're not like in the position to be like, well, I'm not washing those dishes. That, you know, like that's not happening. But no, I think that they saved a lot of money in the budget this year because they have the core four, which is Heather Gay, Mary Cosby, or Heather Gay, Whitney Rose, Lisa Barlow, and Meredith Marks. Those are the ones that they've had to increase the pay over the years because they've maintained housewife status. So by now they're making real paychecks. And Mary Cosby, I'm sure, is making a little bit less, but then Angie Katzenevas is still, I bet you she cleared like 120,000 or something like that. It wasn't something that amazing, but yeah, because the first season, if you come on as a first season housewife, I think you get paid anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 an episode. Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot for a day's work for somebody like me, but at the same time, like, I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses. Yeah. And that's not a lot for people in that situation with the houses that they have, with the clothes that they feel they're expected to wear on these shows, the glam, the everything. Yeah, that's pennies.
It's kind of funny because Bronwyn, I think, came dressed more expensive. Like, in what she was wearing cost more than what she made on the show in the first episode, I think.
Yeah, just her coat, not the outfit, just the coat.
Just a $15,000 Yves Saint Laurent coat, just a limited edition.
I knew that was Rihanna's. I'm obsessed with Rihanna, for the record. Like, love, obsessed with her music. I'm wearing her lipstick right now. Big fan. And I remember Rihanna wearing that jacket, and I'm like, no, that is not Bronwyn wearing the same iconic red fur coat, which I don't even eat meat, let alone wear animals. But I'm like, we can make an exception for fashion. And that was an exception that I'm happy to stand by. Like, stamp approval, you earned it. That was stunning. 3 of them in the world, and this queen goddess has one.
She might have stretched that a little.
Really? Because I've not, I mean, you would think it would be photographed everywhere if somebody else had that.
There's one other person that I know of who is friends with somebody in the group that has one.
Drop names, babe. Drop names.
I can't.
You drop it, I'll pick it up.
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. But you know what? I'm not going to take away from it because look, I'm wearing a black H&M t-shirt and there's 5 billion of these in the world. I don't have a limited edition. So we're good, Bronwyn. I'm not trying to check you about anything.
Exactly. I'm wearing a tuxedo. I'm wearing a Canadian tuxedo this morning. So I'm not talking about crap about anyone.
I like the denim.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Thank you.
I was going to say, you know, I was actually concerned when I found out Andy Cohen talked about this, I believe on Radio Andy, but then also when we started getting the, you know, the information about what episode 1, 2, 3, and 4 were going to be about. I was like, wait, we're starting this off with the first all cast. I didn't know. I'm like, this really isn't something that they normally do. I think they did it last season too. They had an all cast in the first episode, but it's usually not revolving around that. And I'm like, oh, does this mean that you had like a bad season and there's not that much to talk about? But then I like how they shot it going into the Bezos party, but then they panned back and they're like, you know, a few weeks ago, and it's in the black and white. And then we see the drama with Whitney, the drama with Lisa Barr, like the way that they shot it. And I can't give them enough kudos for this.
I agree. Even the echoing of the voice, Lisa Barlow, and like the fact that we started off at the party, like I actually went back and I was like, did I like fast forward accidentally? Like I thought I missed the beginning of the episode because it literally like started in the middle of which is great. Like I was so pleased that it started out so strong. But yeah, the party, like Lisa said something about to the effect of, oh, I love all my friends, kisses to my friends, some to more than others. And then they used her voice, some more than others, some more than others, some more than others. And then went into the flashback. Beautiful, beautiful, beautifully done. The cinematography, just wow.
And Heather Gay had a glow up. Not only did she have, and you know what? Another thing that I'll give this to Heather Gay. Like, she unapologetically, even in the episode, when somebody was like, oh my God, you look good. What happened? She's like, Ozempic, baby. And I'm like, honestly, at least you're owning it. And then looking at the house, I'm like, life's good for you right now, huh?
She is living in her little Moschino dress. I was obsessed with the little plushies on it. She looks great. But may I say something? I went to Heather's book signing, like a year and a half ago, something like that. And that was pre-Ozempic. And I know it was pre-Ozempic because she was wearing the same Prada dress when I met her that she wore on the show last year. Homegirl was not big at all. Like, how much does the camera add? Like, I looked at her and I was like, oh my God, like, there's nothing large about you. Like, not that she looked like overweight or like super big, just like how much weight does the camera add? Like, I can't even imagine what she looks like now because she looked great before the weight loss.
You know, I think it's also too because I always thought, especially as like an avid Kardashians watcher, I always thought one, they made a joke out of it. Chloe used to make fun of herself. She used to always say, I'm the big one. I always get the shit for being the big one. And I saw her on Sunset Boulevard when I lived in LA. And she was coming out of a place that I was getting ready to walk into. It was Malibu Fish Grill, you guys. I was going to get tacos, but she was coming out. I was walking in, and I remember seeing her. And this was before she started getting heavy into the gym and all of this. And I'm like, oh, like why? It must be because you're around, like your sisters are so tiny. You're not big. Like you're really not a bit. You're just not like this tiny little thing like your sisters are. And I think for Heather, it's also like you're around all of these women who are incredibly tiny in height and everything, you know? And some of us have bigger bones, you know? I got hips for days. So trust me.
Yeah. No, I think she's a beautiful woman, period. Same thing with Emily Simpson. Emily couldn't be any more stunning of a human being, but like, I hate to say this, but it's true. I think everybody looks better with a tan, and I think everybody looks better with a few pounds gone. Sorry, myself included.
Well, and no, don't worry. Don't worry.
Sorry, I'm allowed to have an opinion.
You're allowed to have an opinion. Oh, so as we're all getting to the Bezos party, the women understand the assignment. They know that there's going to have to be some drama. And as they're on their way, Whitney is showing up with one of our newbies, Maylee Workman. Now, Maylee coming in with Whitney, this is her opportunity. So for those of you guys who don't know, pretty much when you get on a show like this, they test you, they interview you again, they interview you in your home around your family. They come and see what that's like. Then they have another sit down with you and a couple of the other cast members. They get you to go to lunch with some of the cast members ahead of time, just so you can kind of get some sort of dynamic with them, I guess, a friendship. I don't know. And watching Maylee pass all of those and make it into the band with Whitney, I'm like, girl, that's half the battle. Now you got to deliver a show. I don't think Maylee Workman is going to be back.
I forgot about her. I mean, I noticed her in the car. I saw the bottom third. Like, I know she's Whitney's friend. And when Whitney left at the end of the episode, she went with her. Noticed the two princesses in pink. It was Angie and, is it Maylee?
Yeah.
Maylee, they left with her. And that was like, oh yeah, Whitney's friend. She didn't have the impact that Bronwyn did. That's for sure.
No, and she came and she tried to deliver on the fashion. And Maylee's gorgeous.
Stunning.
So I don't want to, say that she's not. She obviously is. But also she kind of came in too, like Leah McSweeney came into Roni. She wasn't friends with anybody really. She got brought on, and then like Ebony K. Williams came on, and they pretended like she was friends with Leah McSweeney. Maylee Workman was not friends with any of the cast. She was just cast on the show. So maybe that's why she's a little bit more reserved. But from my understanding this season, she comes in and she's not coming in hot really on anything. I think that she was made to get upset a couple of times. Like the girls went in on her. I don't think she could handle it. And then I believe halfway through the season, as they were filming, they were calling her less and less and less. And I think there might even have been a cast trip that she wasn't invited on. So I'm just going to say Maylee Workman is going to be a wash this season. And I hate to, not in like a disrespectful way. I just don't think that it's going to be a one and done.
Right. Well, yeah. I think we could tell that. I mean, and I don't need a dramatic housewife. Like, I really am a big believer in that. Like, you need the person who's going to calm everybody down, who's going to be the voice of reason. So if she takes on that role, I'm okay with that. It doesn't work when everybody's screeching and screaming and everybody's dramatic. Like, I really feel that there is the need for balance. So maybe she'll be that. And I think that that's a very needed position to be in. So yeah. Hopefully she was there for Whitney, and I like that. Like, Whitney was like truly being ganged up on. So I did like seeing her leave with her friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Maylee, we'll give you that right now. Now we're going to go to our
She looked great. I mean, Barbie Core, she looked amazing.
She did look great. She did look great. And that's what I was, you know, but even sometimes like the most beautiful person isn't going to make the best TV, you know? And
Yeah.
that's just, it just is what it is, you guys. Going over to our next girl, Brittany Bateman. So Brittany was the one who she did Broadway before. She did that video where she was singing and trying to be like, ooh, luring people in, and she was really trying to make a social media presence while they were filming. I believe she was also, I think she went in on Monica too. And I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't have a dog on that fight. I think that Brittany got caught in some social media snafus where some shit comes out this season. And I think that she immediately was like, that wasn't me, that was Monica, because that's an easy Passover, right? So
yeah, blame it on Monica. Everybody else did.
Yeah, well, she's not here, so let's blame Monica.
Right. Yeah, it's easy.
But Brittany came in, and I think a lot of the appeal for her was the fact that she is dating this man who Heather Gay is calling the equivalent of dating Prince William in the Mormon world. But then when she starts saying, you know, we've been together for 8 months and we've broken up 16 times, I'm like, girl, this is toxic as hell. Get out of there.
Yeah. That was that was very off-putting. I didn't understand that, number one. And number two, I couldn't believe she had so much, because I looked up the women before the show started just to see who they were, IMDb's, Wikipedia, whatnot. And while Bronwyn's was very small and Brittany's was a much larger repertoire, right, I feel that we got so much more from Bronwyn than Brittany. Do you know what I got from Brittany?
What?
Ramona.
Oh, you got crazy.
I got Ramona. First of all, I think she looks like Ramona. Number two, like the lack of awareness. Like, how are you a woman of your age in an affluent friend group and you don't know that it's insulting to call somebody's fashion a costume? Like, that is so offensive. And then, yeah, I think she is awkward. I think she is going to have her foot in her mouth half the season. I can't wait to see it. But as of right now, I think Bronwyn nailed it. She doesn't know fashion and she doesn't have a great relationship with words either.
No, and even when she sits down and, you know, Bronwyn coming in with the high fashion, I think it was an easy go in for like Mary Cosby. Mary Cosby's going to appreciate the fashion. Mm-hmm. And for Mary Cosby, it's like, Mary Cosby's like my Brandy Glanville. Like when I met Brandy, I met her leaving BravoCon. It was like the big Watch What Happens Live. I was carrying Caroline Brooks's train to her dress and helping her out. But then they ushered everybody into a Sprinter van. So I'm sitting next to Brandy and sitting next to Phaedra. And Brandy was having a good night. She was having a good time. And she goes, "You have untrustworthy eyes." And I was like, what? You were just like complimenting me 2 minutes. What just happened? And she's like, I don't like him. I don't like him. And I'm like, girl, you're looking at 4 of me right now. Shut up. You don't like me. Which one of me? Because I feel like I'm looking at you and you're swaying like this. So you must see 4 of me. And so I don't think I'm the problem here. I think you're the problem. But Mary Cosby gives me that same vibe. It's like, and Mary Cosby, I believe, is sober, where she's just like, oh, I really like you. You know what? I don't. I changed my mind. I don't like you anymore. Why? What did I do, Mary? Doesn't matter. I feel it in my bones. I don't like you. So sorry, bobblehead, you know?
Little girl.
But so then Bronwyn hits it off with Mary over bonding over fashion. And then here comes Brittany and sticks her foot right in her mouth where she's like, oh my God. Hi, I love your costume. And Bronwyn goes,
costume?
She's like, bitch, costume? She's like, not a costume, honey. This is fashion. And Mary Cosby goes, you don't know fashion? You don't know that it's anybody who knows fashion. Obviously, you don't know fashion. And she's like, well, I grew up poor and I'm sure you know. And she's like, what?
I never said I was poor. I'm not a hoarder.
Yeah, she's like, a hoarder. And she's like, yeah, I'm not a hoarder. I didn't grow up poor. And she's like, well, I grew up, and like, I'm sure you can understand this. Like, I had to put rolls in my purse. And Mary goes, I don't get that. And no, I think that's weird. I think that's nasty. And I would never do that. And I'm like, Brittany, just shut up. You lost her.
Well, and that was just another classic Mary Cosby moment. When they were at the confessional, after they were seated together at Lisa's party at the dinner portion of it, and she's like, I can't even relax. My purse is next to this woman. And Mary's rationale was, this had to have been recent, this putting the roll in the purse incident, because she had a purse and kids don't carry purses. Like, that being her thought process makes Mary Cosby, you can call her problematic. You can say she's a cult leader. You can say everything you want. Everybody's allowed their opinion, but this woman is made for reality TV.
Oh, she's great reality TV. She's great reality TV, but it's the kookiness that's unexplainable. That's just like, I look at Mary and I'm like, well, one, I would never actually at this point. Normally, I have no problem going up to Housewives, and I'm like a Housewives whisperer. I get along with most, like, honestly, there's like two that don't. Heather Gay doesn't like me. Mary Cosby, I get it. I interviewed her parents. That's probably not a good idea. And then Teddy. Otherwise, I'm in the gold. I'm in the clear. So I'm okay with the lineup right now. But for Mary, I'm like, I'm so happy you're back on the TV because you say some crazy shit. And I'm going to leave it at that. You're great TV.
She's amazing. Was that a Dolce & Gabbana coat that she was wearing with the spray painting on it? I mean, she just looks so chic. I adore Mary Cosby. I have to say, though, and somebody from the previews put up a meme, and they were so right. The continuity in her hair and in her confessionals, like, it was obviously filmed on multiple days. Like, do better editing. Like, hair and makeup, like, you got to do better with the continuity. I notice those things. It drives me crazy.
You found a flaw in the system.
Sorry, it happens.
No,
That's why they always, like, on those shows like Love is Blind, how they have those terribly annoying, like, wine glasses that you can't see through. And it's just so you can't see, like, okay, somebody's drink is that full in the beginning of the scene. And then 2 seconds later, it's that full. You know, they had to go back and refilm something. So that's just part of the reality thing. Like, you just have to keep that in mind.
And sometimes these things happen too. Like, if you guys remember on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where Lisa Rinna sat down with Amelia and she tried to have that really like big heart to heart. Amelia was like, I don't feel good about myself. I'm like not eating. I'm, like I have anxiety. And when they had the conversation, Amelia had the black hat on that had a decal. I think it said Balenciaga or something. And then halfway through that scene, it pans back to Amelia and there's no logo on the black hat. So fans caught it and they're like, this was supposed to be a heartfelt conversation and now we know it's staged. Yeah.
Like, I hate to break it to you guys. Like, apparently these people did not watch The Hills, because I always think of that very last scene of The Hills. Like, I mean, the way my world was rocked when the show ends and then all of a sudden you see like the scenes the scenes going by, you see the cut from the directors and everybody shaking. I was like, this is all staged. This is all fake. And like, while I don't believe it's scripted, it's definitely staged. You can't just show up to these places without having permission. They have to have the cameras there in place, knowing where the shots are going to be best, have sound prearranged. Like, I get it. It is not on the fly. This is all done, pre-organized. But yeah, that was something where I was just like, if I'm noticing this, everybody's going to be noticing this.
You know what I learned? Because I used to watch Vanderpump Rules film and they would have to come in and redo scenes and they had to, ask for permission to cut their hair, do things dramatic. And I didn't really understand it when I was working at TomTom because I was just trying to make my bag. You know what I mean? I had to pay my bill, so I couldn't really pay full attention. But when I was getting ready to fly to Salt Lake City to interview Jen, I would talk to Jen a lot beforehand. I was like kind of getting, like gaining trust, getting to know her. She was getting to know me. There was a lot of conversations that went into that before I actually showed up. And she one night had like a sort of like, she was very anxious because she had to come up with 3 outfits because they were filming 3 different scenes. And one of the outfits also needed to be the same outfit that was in a confessional look. So her assistant at the time, Murillo, was going through putting these outfits together. She was trying them on. She would have to take a photo and send it to production. Production would say no, because Lisa Barlow is also wearing black and white today. So you can't wear, we already approved hers. You need something else. So she would have to keep going through and picking outfits. And then once you get the outfit and you film in the outfit, you have to archive the outfit in case you have to do a pickup shot.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah. And if you do like a whole look, like say Chanel Ayan, you know, like her outfits are commitment. And then you have like the big blonde wig with like the big tiara and the jewelry. And, you know, she gets a lot of things that I believe Chanel gets to borrow a lot of fashions from these different fashion houses. And I'm curious how she does that, but I don't know. It's wild. People would just think that these women show up and it's like, okay, you're filming, let's film a scene. And there's a lot of behind the scenes that people don't know.
I learned about the continuity in the confessionals. I'm a big RuPaul's Drag Race girly, and they have to have their outfits approved. And yeah, it's a whole thing. That was my introduction into the confessional attire. So you just pretty much confirmed everything I learned on RuPaul's Drag Race. So thank you so much. Like I just love the confirmation from different camps.
Well, you're welcome.
I just love, like, I'm the person, I need to know how everything works. I want to ask a ton of questions. Like my Nintendo when I was a little girl, like I had to open it and see like I need answers.
I'm sure your parents love that. You breaking open the Nintendo.
Yeah.
So okay. So now I wanted to ask you, Mary Cosby and Angie Catanevas showing up together. Well, if I were Angie Catanevas, and for those of you guys who are Mary Cosby fans, I am also a Mary Cosby fan. But if I were Angie, I get right now she needs a friend. Mm-hmm. I think that she was probably surprised that she got asked back as a full-time housewife. I was certainly surprised she got asked back as a full-time housewife. And Mary Cosby and her are buddy-buddy right now. But what I've learned about Mary Cosby over the last few years is that Mary Cosby is really nobody's friend. Mary Cosby, like even with Meredith Marks, Meredith was there for Mary a lot when nobody else wanted to film with Mary, and it didn't make sense because Mary wasn't friends with a lot of the cast. And Meredith gets shit on this season. So Angie Catanevas, her time is coming, by the way. But her coming in, were you shocked to have Angie back, or do you think that she deserved another season, or do you think she could have been a friend of and still came back? Where are you?
I think I would have probably had her come as a friend of. But knowing that she has the strong relationship with Mary that she does, it made a lot more sense to me that she was a full-time cast member, seeing that Mary was so close with her. So I'm okay with it as long as she continues to deliver. I mean, I like Angie. I think she's interesting. I mean, we got the Easter dinner a couple years ago at her. I mean, that'll go down in Housewives history. I mean, we've already gotten a lot from her. I love her and Mary being friends. I love the fact that their friendship stemmed from Angie very politely telling Mary she had lipstick on her teeth. Like, that is the start of a great friendship.
How is that like like, this is what I'm talking about with Mary Cosby. Like, that's what cracked the code?
Yeah,
like,
that's girlhood. That's girlhood.
That's trust.
Yeah.
That is trust. And then she looks at Heather Gay and she's like, Devil Wears Prada looks like, huh, you look skinny. I like her.
We could be friends now. Yeah. Oh my God. That's so
it's like, what?
It's awful. It's awful human behavior, but I love it.
When I saw Meredith, that was Meredith's sister that she walked in, right?
Yes.
When I saw Meredith's sister walk in and I saw that she was missing one of her legs, and her sister's really beautiful, but when I saw that, I automatically felt so uncomfortable for her because of Mary's past comments.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when they said it was her sister, she's seen the show. You know, she knows the show. Her sister's on the show, so I'm sure she's a fan of it. And I think that's the same sister where, you know, her side of the family has been mentioned in previous seasons. Mm-hmm. I just felt so uncomfortable, and I was like, Mary, please don't. Do not say something like, I hate making people feel uncomfortable or like listening to somebody just be outright rude. And Mary will do it so unapologetically. So I was cringing. I was like, please do not say anything to this woman. Please, please, please.
Oh my God. Well, and it would be just like the reason we would feel that way going into it is because we saw it first season when Jen Shaw smelled like hospital. And then Jen Shaw said, my aunt had to have her leg amputated. And Mary went straight into, why don't you just drink more water and have a better diet? Like, I was waiting for it to happen too. I was like, oh my God, is she going to say something to this woman? Is she going to say something to this woman that she doesn't drink enough water or has a bad diet? Like, stop. Put a muzzle on this woman before she says something so dumb that she can't take back, but she didn't, thankfully.
No, thank God well, at least it didn't make the edit if she did, but hopefully she didn't. All right. So then from that point, we see where Whitney shows up and Whitney's very uncomfortable. And she's like, I'm surprised I got invited, but you're not because it's an all cast and you guys know you get the schedule. So, okay. But for the fans, you are, and we'll leave it at that. So when she shows up, she's like, hi, and how are you? And how's everyone? And Meredith just like goes straight in for it. She's like, I have something to say to you. So first it's a jewelry line and now it's a bath bomb. What's your problem with me? Do you not want to be friends with me? You have a problem with me? And Whitney was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like,
I literally just walked in. What's happening?
Yeah, she's like, and Meredith looked at her with like, I'm right here. Don't look around. Right here. And I was just dying laughing. I'm like, wow, you can tell that you've been on for 5 seasons now because you were just like, let's get to it.
They wasted no time. Yeah, I was so embarrassed for Meredith in the sense that, like, wow, you really are making all of that about yourself. And the fact that she was like, I said in New York at the reunion that I was going to be doing bath things. And then plus those editors for cutting back. That edit was brilliant when they were like, oh, a butter bath. And she's like, oh, but she did no such pitching. There was no pitching. There was no promotion. Somebody had an idea. She said the word butter bath and all of a sudden Whitney is stealing her idea. Can I say that was absolute insanity? And I loved every second of it.
I actually, listen, I enjoyed it too. You know, the jewelry, the thing is I guess in a friend group, you know, I've had, how do I word this? I've had things copied that I've done by people who I thought were friends and stuff. And I've asked them like, hey, I'm doing this, you know, things are looking very similar, you know, and I've spent a lot of time with my husband, like designing this brand and doing the things. And like now all of a sudden we look like we're twinsies. Can we, you know, like chill it out? And it really is frustrating. It's frustrating when you put a lot of work into something, but then also, you know, when I brought this up to somebody, their answer was, you don't own that, like certain colors and how to do things. Like you're not the first, you didn't reinvent the wheel. And I'm like, I thought we were friends, but also, no, you're right. I didn't reinvent the wheel, but I thought it was just like, it was bitch code, you know, like we're a bitch flock. And now we were one twosome. Now that you went in over and like you decided you were going to come me over, now we're 2 onesomes, which we were on the same island. And I hope your island sinks, you little asshole. Because
friends to frenemies.
Yeah. Oh, quick. And I'm good with like, I don't know how you are. I'm cutthroat. I think it's because I've been burned so many times. I am straight like there's one shot with me. I don't give second chances to people. I don't ask for second chances. I like weed people in my life only because I don't know, some fucking psychological warfare in my head of like, you know, you were shit on so much at this point. You're not going to let anybody do it again. I am woman. Hear me roar. You know, like, yeah, like that. But so what I was going to say is, yes, I can understand the jewelry line where Meredith was like, that's what I'm known for on the show. But then also it's like 95% of the women in the world have some form of jewelry. So it's not like, you know,
and it's not like bath bombs are this like new, like pivotal idea that nobody's like gotten on the market yet. Like bath bombs are like one of the more oversaturated things on the market right now. Not saying it doesn't have a place, but for Meredith Marks to think that because she takes baths, has like The rights to bath bombs, again, is Delulu to the core, and I love her for it.
I have to tell you guys too, Jason and I right now, for the past, since it's been like 6 months, we've been working with chemists, and we're coming out with a new line and product line. And hopefully October, there's a lot of things that go into it, you guys. But one of the things that I wanted to be a part of this line, when I knew I had an option, was a bath bomb. I swear to God. And they said to me, they're like, well, we've gone through numbers and other people that we've worked with in the past, anybody who's ever tried to go that route, it's not like the margins aren't great. And usually the bath stuff sits on shelves. So Whitney, maybe just save your time, because it is an oversaturated market. You can go on Amazon, you can go into Target, you can go into CVS, you can go into Walgreens, you can go into Aldi.
Right.
Trader Joe's.
But I'm going to have to, yeah, I feel like I should say this as a woman, and I have to agree with Mary Cosby yet again. As somebody who's not a fan of baths, the only way I will take a bath is if I take a shower before, because you have to get all the junk off. Let that go down the drain, and then I will sit in a bath. Like, sitting in a bath of my own funk is weird to me. But Mary was right. And some of you might not know this, but some of you might have very sensitive nether regions, and the nether regions might not get along with the things in the bath bomb. So use a bath bomb with warning and with discretion, because your vaginal health is very important to us.
Wow. Thanks for the PSA.
That's what I'm here for.
You know, I'm the same way. I like baths, and Jason has very sensitive skin, so he'll get in oatmeal baths and stuff. But we will take a shower, then take a bath, and then after we get out of the bath, we will get back into the shower and rinse off. Not separate times, guys. We don't. I am 6 foot, almost 1. I am not fitting into a bath with my husband, by the way. So it is very separate, and bath time is sacred time. Okay, that's like my Netflix and chill time. Anyways, so. Moving on, then as Meredith is calling out Whitney about this, Angie Katzenavas was like, this is my chance. I'm going to go up and I'm going to talk to her and I'm going to call her out about all this shit. And she's like, really, Meredith? Really? You tried to get my house taken away? She's like, I did not. She's like, I want an apology. You want an apology for what? Oh. I didn't applaud that. I didn't applaud it because I'm like, I agreed with Heather Gay, thinking in my head, this is a little aggressive for a first episode of like coming in like you're like, it's coming in hot, and there's a way to come in hot where it just like the fans are applauding the hell out of you, or I'm curious how the fans are going to react to this, if they're going to say, girl, put it away, you're trying too hard, you know?
I loved it. I am on the different side of the spectrum here.
I love that.
She gave us receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, all in a scroll. Like, she came with her receipts. The fact that she pulled it out and the editors put like medieval, like trumpeting in the background, or like, that shit was so funny. The editors have given us so much. I love the scroll. I thought it was hysterical. The confessionals, Heather saying, did she go to a craft store? Mary saying, was she like scissor gluing, pasting? Like, I thought it was hilarious. And as somebody who needs notes, I understand.
Well, and that's the thing too, is I think sometimes the fans watching, they want to feel like, even though it's reality TV, I feel like after the pandemic, fans got really smart, so they can see when things kind of feel fake or premeditated. And I don't think that the fans normally react well to something that's premeditated. And when they were pointing that out, that she had to go cut this out, she knew she was going to have a moment. She was waiting for it. She had to have come in like a little anxious. She's like, you know, where's Meredith? How do I do this? Sees Whitney with Meredith. And she's like, okay, Whitney's my friend. That's an ally. I'm going to pop up right here with her. Which, by the way, that's another thing about Angie Katzenavas. She never stands alone. She is always, I think that she's always chiming in with somebody. She's always like, she comes in, you know, when there's shit already happening. Whereas like Meredith just approached the situation. Mary Cosby, great at it. Monica was great at it. Heather's good at it. Lisa Barlow, Whitney, Rose, like even Bronwyn coming in. I'm like, you don't need anybody to have your back. You have a YSL on it. You're good.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're like, I got Tom and Jerry. We come as a pack. Okay. Woo. Yeah. So as we end up moving on, the scroll's getting us nowhere, and Meredith disengages, and finally we can have dinner. Thank you. Monica told me the other day on our podcast that one of her first scenes with Lisa Barlow, it was like her second scene filming. They ordered food, and Lisa was like, yes, like they're talking, and Monica goes to dip her fork in to eat a bite of the food, and Lisa was like, oh my God, don't eat that. Don't eat that. You don't want it on camera. Like, and producers had to stop the scene that they were filming and tell Lisa, don't direct her. Like, if she wants to eat it, let her eat it. And she's like, it's going to look bad on camera if you're eating. So I'm curious if anybody actually ate at this dinner. I guess that's my point. But we sit down and then we get to the drama. Lisa Barlow, Angie Katsanevis, Heather Gay, and Whitney Rose. What were your initial thoughts?
I mean, I'm kind of over the whole, like, it's formulaic at this point. Like, we're going to have a dinner scene just to have housewives fighting with each other. Like, I'm kind of over it. But the fact that, like, I feel like we got a lot out from last season. Hopefully we can put those things to bed, things that happen post reunion, whatnot. Like, I think it's time to move on. If this was like the Last Supper to kind of get through all that, fine. But I'm just kind of over the whole, I think Beverly Hills is the worst about it, and they kind of just tainted the rest of the franchises. I'm sick of women sitting with food in front of them and them not eating, and us just watching them fight over food. Like,
I would be the worst. I'd be like,
I'm hungry. Like, I'll be eating.
I'm eating.
Maybe that's why they're fighting, is because they're hangry.
Yeah, I'm like Lizzo's Instagram handle. Lizzo be eating. Like Adam be eating. Like, I eat. I have to eat. I would sit there and I'd be like twirling my spaghetti like, bitch, you did that.
Exactly. And those are the best shots, like of when I can't think of his name right now. He's the nicest guy. But Roni, the martini glass, and all the shit's going down, and he's like, I love seeing those like mid moments. Like, I want to see you like, food falling out of your mouth. Like, I think that's hilarious. But yeah, they don't. You know what? Now that you mention that, I think we did see some of the people before the dinner when they were just going around with the tray passing. I think the hors d'oeuvre meat on sticks. Yeah, we're being eaten here and there, but Lisa did. Was she holding? I need to know? Was it like a little cone of like spicy tuna, or was it like a little carpaccio cone? I don't know what it was, but she was just holding it like a prop. Like she was like the Statue of Liberty, and this was her prop. Like, it was hysterical. She's not eating that.
Even the drink, though, when you just said that, it reminded me of when Erica was drunk and she goes, "Merce is in the purse," and you see Kyle, and she's like.
It's brilliant. What? It's so brilliant. This is why we need to eat on camera, people. It lends for hilarity.
So I was a little confused in this argument because, and I even went back and I rewatched it, and I'm like, what is Lisa Barlow so pissed off about? She's pissed off that Whitney said that she was the villain on the Nick Viall podcast. But then what was it that she said to Heather and Angie that Angie relayed that was so bad?
If people would like to chime in, I didn't understand the source of like why there was all that drama. Like, I didn't see it being a huge deal, and honestly, I was a bit confused on that too. So yeah, I need some clarity. They went really hard for something I didn't really understand the backstory on.
And Lisa Barlow totally knew already. She knew that. My dad always said this to me growing up. He's like, son, if I ask you a question, 9 times out of 10, I know the answer. And Lisa Barlow totally knew Heather Gay was not the one who brought that to Whitney, but she was like, it was you or it was you. And Heather Gay was like, she already knows this girl. And Angie was like, not saying anything. And she's like, so which one was it? Which one was? Say it right now. And Angie's like, well, I said something, but I didn't. And I'm like, no, don't come in with the scroll like you have this backbone made of steel. True. And then all of a sudden be like, well, you know, it was own your shit, because this is where you're losing me as a viewer. And I'm just one person, you know. A lot of people might love Angie, and I do like Angie, but this is where you're losing me. Like, you can't come in with this like metal rod in your back and then all of a sudden be like, well, I said something. No, just what did you say? Say it.
It's very true. You can't ask Meredith to like be like 100% apologetic and transparent when you're like beating around the bush. And again, the camera people, the production, when they said it was either her or her, and we went camera to Heather Gay, and it was like boom boom, and then we went camera to Angie, boom boom. It was just like they are earning their coin. Bravo, bravo.
Yeah, they did good with that. And then from that point, moving on, they all start, like arguing. And Lisa said, "You're a liar." And Whitney's like, "I am a lot of things, Lisa, but I am not a liar. And you're not going to attack my character." Holy shit, open the floodgates. Heather's like, "You are a liar. You lied on me." Then Meredith was like, "Yeah, you lied on me too, girl." And Lisa's like, "Yeah. And then you said this." And you see all of the cast members, like, they're like, what the fuck is happening right now? This is a Whitney takedown.
They were all activated. Like she just not owning her shit just activated everybody in that cast. And it was a lot of people all at Whitney at once. I don't like seeing people ganged up on. It made me uncomfortable, but I feel like it was a very organic thing. Like they had all just been up to here and it was just like word vomit. They couldn't keep it in any longer. That's how it felt.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also, like even before we got to that point and Bronwyn, this is one thing that I'm appreciating about Bronwyn already, is Bronwyn didn't have a dog in that fight, so she kept out of it. Sort of like how Alexis Bellino should have been with John Jansen and Shannon Bedore. She didn't have a dog in it, so she just kind of sat back and she's like, "You guys hash this shit out." But when Angie Katsunavis and Meredith were going back and forth, and Angie kept on trying to have a moment with Meredith, trying to have a moment. And Bronwyn was like, "Okay, but now let's let it go." And she's like, "But my house." And Bronwyn's like, "Okay, now you said it. Let's let it go." And she's like, "But she said about my house." And Bronwyn was like, "All right, well, now you got it out. Let it go." And she was like, "But then also," and Bronwyn was like, "Fuck me." And just like threw the napkin over her face. Like, "I'm done. I'm done. Obviously, I'm not going to get anywhere with you, Angie. So just go sit over there with Brittany."
Brittany, like Britani, Brittany. Okay.
Brittany.
It's Brittany.
Oh.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Oh. Sorry, Brittany. Brittany.
It's Brittany, but it's Brittany. I'm so confused. I have Britani. I'm sorry, that's Brittany, but that's okay. It's okay.
And this is off to the side, but I also sort of feel bad because I've seen some comments where people have seen like the first few minutes of the episode before it came out, and people were being really mean to her because on her photos on social media, she looks a lot different than she looks in real life. I think, her photos are very, I don't know if they're, what do you call it? Photoshop, Facetune,
edited, yeah.
Paris filter, not quite sure, but I saw where people were like, doesn't even look like the same woman from the videos. And I'm like, oh, this is knowing how brutal the Bravo fans are. I can already see, just as this woman is going to be on TV, I can already see that she's going to be going and getting the things done and falling in line with the housewifery. And it's like, oh, we have to get this and tucked and stitched and eyelids and lifts and CO2 blue peels. I don't know.
Could you believe the size of Meredith's lips as her boobs grew? As she got skinnier and her boobs grew, apparently her lips grew also. I was like, Meredith coming in with the big juicy lips. Yes.
And also, too, I want to sit there and I want to mention another thing about Meredith. Angie being like, "You're a renter. You're a renter." So I've known Meredith for a couple years now. I actually met up with her when I went to go do the Mary Cosby parents interview. We met up at, I think it's called the White Horse or something. We had such a great time the first night. I didn't think I'd see her again. I just messaged her randomly and I was like, "Hey, like I've interviewed you and whatever, and I'm in Salt Lake and it would be great to meet up in person if you're around." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to a dinner. Let's grab a drink." So we ended up meeting up and then we had a great conversation. And then the next night she was like, or one of us said, "You want to meet up again?" And we did. And I really, really like Meredith. The one thing I know about Meredith is her family lives not too far from mine in Palm Beach County. And the woman not only comes from money, but she has money. Just because she is renting a home when she's not filming, she's spending 2 months in Europe. She's staying at like the Waldorf Astoria for a month in New York. She's going to Paris Fashion Week. She's flying to LA. Like she's everywhere. She doesn't have fake money. She just doesn't own that house. And that's not to say that who knows if she has a portfolio of other houses or whatever. This is for the show, you know?
Right. And more people are renting houses to film for reality TV, which angers a lot of fans because they're like, where's the reality? But when you have kids, or even if you don't have kids, you just want your own privacy and you don't want like weirdos showing up at your doorstep. And like people get robbed all the time. They see what's in your house. We've seen, I mean, as a writer for Taste of Reality, I've written that story so many times. This person was on vacation. It happened to Jen Aiden. It happened to Caroline Brooks. Like, it happened. It happened to Teresa Giudice. Her car allegedly got stolen from her driveway.
Like, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle Richards. Hello. I mean, hello. I've seen the movie The Bling Ring. That's based on true stories.
Farrah. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it happened. Yeah. It happens all the time. And, you know, also too, like, I just feel like bringing up the house thing and the renters, like, just because you own your house doesn't mean you can necessarily film in it. I have a friend here who films for Southern Charm. This person has been on the show for a while now. And this person's neighbors threw a fit when the film crew came in because they have an HOA. And the HOA was like, no, this is disturbing us. You guys are parking on the street. You guys are, you know, like, you're bringing in your cameras. We don't want our neighborhood documented. Absolutely not. And then my friend got a letter saying no more filming in the neighborhood, no filming in your house. We do not want to see camera crews. And this is their house. They own this house, but they're not. Now they had to write into their contract, you cannot film at my house.
Wow, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I have an HOA also, and they're awful, and it makes sense. Like, if they don't like my door decoration, my seasonal door decoration, I get a letter and the threat of a fee. I'm like, sorry, you don't have taste.
The HOA president that I have before I moved, and this was just like a year and a half ago, I was doing YouTube, and the HOA, every morning it was something. I would walk out and I would try to skip past this person. And I'd be like, oh, hey, neighbor, by the way, did you know that we're doing this and vote for this? And I'd be like, God, leave me alone. And I went on and I aired my grievances on the tube, on YouTube, 2 days later. So I heard your podcast. And I was like, no, that wasn't you. That was the old HOA president that where we just moved from. Oh, and he looked at me like, And it was never the same, but he left me alone. He left me alone after it. So honestly, sorry, not sorry. I'm not.
Well, I'm going to blow up the guy here at Indigo. You're a jerk. Leave me alone.
Just leave us alone, please. Thanks.
Thank you.
So another moment that I liked as we're ending off the episode, finally when Whitney Rose gets up and she's like, you know what? You want the hill? You want Whitney from the hill? Here's the hill right here. Yeah, she's like, I'm out of here.
EA says E. Heel. E. It's not hill. There's an ill in an ill. It's heel. Oh my God. Like, how can she not pronounce those words?
She is very content with the way that she's pronouncing it.
My healing journey, I can't. The healing journey, if I never hear about the healing journey one more time, it'll be too soon.
The healing journey's got you. That's what's got you.
Healing journey I want to hear about. I miss her dad. What's happening with her dad's healing journey?
Yeah, I know.
Did you catch any of the reruns over the weekend? They were rerunning Salt Lake City all week on Bravo.
No, I get in trouble at my house. Like, if I'm not watching new episodes, I literally have to go to a different part of the house if I want to watch Housewives because Jason will lose his shit. He's like, I'm so sick of listening to women screaming. And I'm like, you don't understand.
I'm just so happy that, like, when we finally get to hang out in real life, our husbands can go and talk about anything other than what we're talking about, and they will be so content together.
We were just talking about this the other day. I told Jason, I said, you're such a dude's dude, and I'm such a girl's dude. Like, I love hanging out with the ladies, and like Jason just gets in, and he'll, even with like all the straight dudes just like sitting around talking football and stuff, Jason will sit there and he looks like he's like, it looks like you're waiting for his wife to walk up. And he's just like, yeah, what's up, man? And yeah,
hey.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, hey guys, we're here. And Jason's like, yeah, man. So did you catch the game on Sunday? You did? Man, that Rogers really fucked it up, but
they really
hey,
threw
can
that
I have another
ball.
beer? And it's like, who the fuck are you?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I am obsessed.
That's the dynamic, guys. But she ends up exiting, and Maylee Workman decided to be a good friend, and she would have looked like an asshole if she would have stayed at the party, considering Whitney brought her in, even though Whitney and Maylee were not real friends before the show. But optics would have been like, oh, that's not a good friend. If she was a good friend, she would have left with you. So she did smart by doing that. Angie
Mhm.
Katzenabis got up and left too. And Heather, what did Heather say? She's like, I thought she wrote for me or whatever.
And they were like, no, she obviously rides for Angie. Oops.
Yeah, Meredith was like, she obviously doesn't ride for you anymore. Like,
And Heather's face was like, oh,
and
yeah.
Meredith's laugh where she just goes, good luck, bitches. Like,
Oh,
can't wait to see how
Meredith.
the rest of this plays out.
After watching the reruns, I had forgotten that we started Meredith. Like, we got to know Meredith in the thick of relationship problems with her husband. Like, they
Yeah.
were on the verge of divorce that first season. Fast forward to last season, they're sticking toes up each other's backsides in the bathtub. Like, boy, we have really saw a journey between the Marks family. I mean,
You know what though? But sometimes that's, and you know this, like sometimes relationships, like you just at one point you're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And is this worth it? Like I could just go live my life and maybe there's somebody else out there that like I would be more compatible with. And then sometimes you realize like, no, I love you, you big asshole, but like, God, let's communicate, you know?
mhm.
And
It's the most honest thing. We're
yeah,
both married people. Like that's reality. That's exactly how marriages are. Like you love each other. You want nothing but the best for them, even though they drive you crazy. You might want them dead. And you think about it, but you're like, I wouldn't get the life insurance, so I can't kill them. We're gonna make this work. And then it ends up, you know what? I love this person. I'm so glad we did this.
yeah, yeah. Not you, Jason, though. I've never felt like that.
Never. Me neither. I was just speaking hypothetically for other people.
Yeah, we watch a lot of TV, you guys.
Like Heather Gay, we watch a lot of TV.
Yeah, a lot of TV. All right, guys. So I hope you loved the episode as much as we did. Going into next week, going into the rest of the season before we sign off, I always love like starting a new franchise with somebody, but then also asking like, what are you looking forward to most out of this season?
Well, they got me again. The edit is so good. I need to know who, when they're fighting again on the Sprinter van, bless our Salt Lake City queens, and they're fighting, and I want to know who was doing the private recording. I put on my detective cap. The woman is a brunette, and she had her hair in a braid like this. And I noticed the people, what they were wearing. It wasn't one of the main cast members. Who is the person that they were screaming shared who was recording? That's what I'm waiting for. That is my source of, I need to know. The detective girl in me needs answers, but this season looks like it's going to deliver. We have fun, we have drama. The fact that we started off with a full cast party, I wouldn't mind if we slowed down a little bit. Like, I would really like to go back. I want to see Bronwyn with her husband that's more than twice her age, that she has stepchildren that are older than her. These are the dynamics that I want to see. Like, I need to see what is happening at Bronwyn's home. I love that she doesn't feel sexy. Like, I don't feel like a sexy person. Like, in the words of like Taylor Swift, like, I think we can call Bronwyn a sexy baby because she's like married somebody so much older. And the fact that she doesn't feel sexy, but she's so beautiful and so, she might not feel sexy, but she is sex on legs, in my opinion. I am so obsessed with her. That's the story I want to see. I want full-time Bronwyn in my veins. I want so much more.
No, I think that she's a great full-time housewife addition for sure. And my prediction is, I think it's going to be Brittany, who was the one record. And by the way, I know some shit from the season, but that's not one of them. I don't know that. Yeah. And I'm not like, I don't know, but I know. I like actually don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, because I was looking at everybody's outfits and like you could see some people in the shot, and I was like, kind of comparing what I'm confused. Maybe it might be Brittany, or it could just be somebody that we don't know yet.
She's gonna Instagram us and be like, stop calling me Brittany.
I'm sorry, but your name is not Brittany. Brittany, the correct spelling of Brittany is Britney, like the Holy Spirit, Queen Brittany Jean Spears.
Okay, well, there you have it, guys.
That's how you spell Brittany. And if you're wrong, you need to take it up with the Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit. Well, guys, with that, if they don't know, Ashley, will you let them know where we can find you?
Adam's family, I hope you find me at tasteofreality.com. My partner Imani and I, you can see her right there with Stassi. Imani, we always have boots on the ground. That's what we like to think is different about us here at Taste of Reality than all the other gossip blogs. We will go to the book signings. Imani, my partner, went to Stassi's book signing in Chicago this weekend, had an amazing time. We're the girlies who are going to go to Sutton Shop, and we're going to go shopping. We're going to go eat at Tom Tom and tell you what to order and what to skip, who to ask for as your server. We are boots on the ground. So thank you so much for following our Instagram, tasteofreality.com right here. Not only do we keep you up with the gossip, like I said, we'll review the hot spots. We'll go visit. When you're in Salt Lake City, I have to recommend the Good Time Girl facial at Beauty Lab. Last time I was in Salt Lake, I went and got the facial. It was amazing. Couldn't recommend Beauty Lab anymore. So give us a follow. Join us. You can see here, we had a Big Brother live discussion. So during the shows, if you want to have somebody to chat along with, the taste buds are the nicest humans in the world. They're so kind to each other, but so shady to the people on our shows, which is what we love. So join us for the discussion posts too.
Hey, I love it. I love it. All right, guys, we'll definitely go check out Ashley and her business partner, Imani, on tasteofreality.com and on social media platforms. And with that, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your week. I'm going to be going out of town today. So hot, messy topics tomorrow, I'm sure. I'm going out of town and then I'm coming right back in town. So I'm flying out. I have 4 flights. It's like connecting, get there, connecting back. And I said to Jason, I was like, I need to get some work done too. And he's like, what the? No. I was like, there's definitely a lounge in the airport where you can close a cubicle and I could go in there with a little mic and be like, guys, shit just went down on the East Coast, you know?
We need your live reports. Like, please. We love you, Jason. Your time together is so important, but selfishly, we need your tidbits. We need your keep it coming.
Thanks, Ashley. And if you guys haven't already, smash the like button, get subscribed, and we'll see you next time. Love you guys.